Race 3 of the 1 hour of Nurburgring. Now guys are coming around to complete their formation lap, and Baggy took pole by just under a second from AJ to the P. MSX has a fantastic showing in third place from THKKR and Ian in the two Porsches, as we do have green, so Baggy leads the way. You got AJ challenging on the outside straight away in the Bentley machine, then AJ is looking to make moves as we got MSX, THKKR, they all pile into turn 1 then. Wide on turn 1 is Twitch Wake, as oh my word, what have we got going on here? Everyone is off, and that could be a server reset, because that is absolutely catastrophic what just happened in the opening lap then. Well, we will continue, guys. We will continue. Everyone's still racing. There's a drive-through penalty for Flaming Sock down in P17. Twitch Wake running right at the back in a drive-through penalty. Flaming Sock's up to third, so everything's gone wrong here. I am going to do a server reset for these guys. That was absolutely shambolic. Oh, wow. It's all changed for these guys. I was going to do a server restart, but they're all still racing then. This race had so much potential. You got Catcher is the big beneficiary of this, then up into P2. Flaming Sock's got a drive-through penalty. He is slowly dropping back down the order. TJT is right at the back of the field. He started in the pit lane. These guys won't know that I've done a server reset, or will do a server reset, because they're all still racing. So we'll leave them to it. I'm not sure what happened in that turn 1. It was just absolute chaos, it was. But Baggy leads the way then. He's 6.2 seconds ahead of the field already on that opening lap. We will recompose ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Twitch Wake has moved up into third place. He started last. He did not even qualify. He was a late entry to this race, and he is up into P3. So that goes to show you what actually happened early on. Crazy turn 1, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy turn 1. But we continue. Ian is there in P4, Ray Steve is 5th, THKKR is 6th, Dash is 7th, Julian is 8th, Tropic Rot is 9th, and Antonelli round out the top 10. Yes, even the dog is furious. Yeah, I know, my dog is barking. If you hadn't seen in the Discord community chat rooms, I've had a bit of a problem tonight. My daughter seems to have broken my main TV that I do all the streaming on, so I've had to vacate the streaming room, and I've had to do a makeshift stream for this race in the kitchen, unfortunately. So I'm on a tiny TV. I've got my PlayStation in a place where it shouldn't be. I'm sat on a kitchen stool, but we're here and we're doing this for the cause. Should I do a server restart, guys? Let me know in the chat. They've only been 5 minutes. I think it's a good idea. Server restart, they'll have 5-minute qualifying. If anybody's out there wants to let me know, that'd be great. If you're just tuning in now, you missed an absolutely chaotic opening lap. I was debating on not whether to restart this race. So Twitch Wake, who didn't even qualify, started last, he's up into third, catches into second, Baggy's away 10 seconds ahead from everybody else. Ian, Rays, THKKR, Dash, Julian, Tropic Rotten, AMG make up the top 10. Ace Tuned, Militant, Antonelli, Flaming Sock, AJ to the P, who qualified second behind Baggy, is down in 15th, but he has made his pit stop. MSX, Mike the Killer, and TJT. So for the Nurburgring, the 1 hour event, we did trial something different. We said to the guys in the community, you need a safety rating of 70 to get in on the action, to try and make these events a bit more less chaotic, and it's actually reversed because race 1 had a bit of carnage in turn 1. We didn't catch race 2 because that overlapped with race number 1, and race 3 was just a complete whitewash into that opening sequence of corners. But we do continue, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we can't assign anybody to their qualifying order. They would have to do a whole new qualifying session, which is, it's not a bad thing, I suppose. But 7 minutes gone. We'll let the order sort itself out. We do still have 18 runners and riders. Baggy is away in the lead, 15 seconds ahead. Catcher sitting in second. He'll be happy with that. Twitch Wake up to third. He wasn't even going to race today. He's just moved into a brand new house, and he hasn't even set up his streaming facilities or anything, so he just jumped into the rig and decided to see what he could do from the back of the field. He didn't qualify, and he does find himself up into third place from that turn 1 carnage. Ray Steve's having a good showing in fourth. Ian TDI is in fifth. THKKR is sixth as we ride on board with Dash. Then there's a brilliant battle between Dash, Julian and Tropic Rot, and McLaren, Ferrari and Lamborghini. Some front end damage there on Dash as Julian looks to go round the outside. He will have the inside line into the next turn, but he doesn't quite make the move stick, so he will have to try once more. He tucks in behind and up the inside. Tropic Rot is looking for a move on Julian also, so this is a fantastic battle happening just inside the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my word, what is going on there? Tropic Rot gets it all wrong. Oh my word, this race has been an absolute disaster, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure what is going on here. This is meant to be the guys with the best safety rating. Oh. Baggy does lead the way then. He doesn't know what's happening behind him. He's just sailing away at the front as he usually does. He hasn't had much screen time. He's 16.2 seconds ahead. Yeah, Greg McClellan, that was a crazy turn 1. Indeed it was. It's been a crazy race, to be honest. Twitch Wake finds himself up into second place then after starting last on the grid without setting a qualifying time. Catch has just fallen back. He is 1.7 seconds adrift now as Ray Steve in the Mercedes is catching slowly to the Ferrari man. Ian TDI sits close behind, as does THKKR. The two Porsche machines qualified in third and fourth, I believe. No, they never. I do apologise. MSX managed to slot his McLaren there into third place on the grid before the first lap collisions. It was THKKR in fourth, Ian in fifth. So those guys still motor on in formation. And there's a brilliant battle going on for fourth, third, fourth, fifth and sixth then. They pulled a gap of 8 seconds to Dash in seventh place as Baggy is miles ahead in front of these lots, so this is one to watch, ladies and gentlemen. We'll just quickly go through the rest of the order. AMG Dens is in 8th, Ace Tune 9th, Julian is there in 10th then. he had that coming together with Tropic Rot. I'm not sure what happened to his car then. He just seemed to lose his braking. He didn't brake whatsoever for the turn, and I think he just misjudged it, and he tried to avoid all the guys, but obviously he ended up over the gravel. He didn't have control of the car, and then he just went into the side of Julian. Militant has switched it up then. He is in the Ferrari machine for a change. He said goodbye to the Audi. He's stuck with the Audi for the last couple of months, but he's had enough. He's gone to the Ferrari machine. He said earlier on that he's found it more stable, more forgiving, which he just needs to find the speed in that machine now. As we do ride back on board with Catch, then he sits there in third place, but he does have Ray's breathing down his neck in the Mercedes-Benz. He's just biding his time. He just wants to make a clean pass. Hopefully it's a clean pass, Ray's, after those early incidents on lap 1. But Ian now is looking to make a move also up the inside. Can he make a move stick? We'll ride on board with Ian then. Does he get his braking just right? Not this time round then. He thinks better of it. He's going to sit behind that Mercedes machine as he does switch to the outside. You can't go around the outside there, or can you? Who's got a better traction? Who's got a better line in these greasy, damp conditions? As Ian and THKKR do run in formation. They're running the same liveries. They're on the same team. I'm not sure there's going to be team orders today though, boys. We'll ride back on board with Julian then. He's looking to make a move right round the outside of Militant 95. I do apologise. I think that's TJT Adam out of position there. He's the last of the runners. He's a lap down, so he had problems at the beginning of the race. He started in the pit lane for whatever reason. As I do apologise for my dog barking once more. But someone we haven't gone on board with yet, ladies and gentlemen, is AJ to the P in the Bentley machine. He qualified P2. We'll ride on board with him. He's in 13th right now. We'll stick with him for a whole lap and see what type of pace he's doing. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, what happened at MSX? So Turn 1 was just an absolute killer for everybody. I think there must have been at least 10 to 12 cars facing the wrong way. People in the gravel, people off the track. Twitch Wake started last. He found himself up into third. RR Catch was a big beneficiary of the first lap carnage also, as Baggy just made a break for it. He's 22 seconds ahead now. Baggy there in the Audi machine. But AJ to the P is one to watch. He dropped down the order in that opening lap. He made an early pit stop then, so he's going to the end of the race with 47 minutes remaining. We'll see how fast he can climb back up the order once everybody else does start to make that pit stop window. Yeah, it wasn't a good start. Not a good start, ladies and gentlemen. Turn 1 stack, you can call it that, Frank. It was more than a stack, let me tell you. But we will go back on board then with Twitch Wake. He's 22 seconds behind Baggy. He's in his trusty Porsche machine. He's managed to pull a 4-second gap to Catch in third. As Catch has got a train of cars behind him. He's got Rays, Ian and THKKR. They've managed to pull a 10-second gap to Dash in 7th. He's holding his own there in 7th place. Then he's got AMG Dens not too far behind him. AMG Dens in the Mercedes. Speaking to him earlier on in the week, he's picked up himself his own actual real Mercedes AMG. So he's living the high life as AMG Dens, sitting in P8. Ace Tuned is 3.5 seconds further back. Julian rounds out the top 10 in that Ferrari machine, but he does have Militant 95 all over the back of him then, looking for a way past. 0.2 is the gap, coming round to complete lap number 8. Who's going to get a better drive out of the final turn? Julian seems to have the legs currently. He keeps it nice and tidy. Militant 95 will slot back in behind him for another lap then. But AJ to the P, if you look, he is slowly starting to make moves then. He has found his way past Flaming Sock in the BMW machine, so he's disposed of his first body. Everyone in front of him still has to pit. So it will be very, very interesting. He is 33 seconds behind Militant, so he does have a lot of time to make up AJ to the P. It's about 30 seconds for a pit stop, depending on if they take tyres, depending on how much fuel they need to put on board. But Militant 95 has found his way past Julian then, so he's up into the top 10. Militant 95, if you're supporting him, give him a holler in chat. He is now chasing down Ace Tuned and Dash, who aren't that far in front of him. He's certainly got the pace. He's managed to dispose of Julian. He's 0.5 of a second ahead of him already in a few corners, so he's got the pace in that Ferrari. He's going to be wanting to get past Ace Tuned. He's only 2.5 seconds behind, as Ace Tuned himself is looking to make moves on Dash, who is sitting in P8 in that McLaren. And just ahead of Dash you can see AMG Dens, who has just moved up the order because I believe Ray Steve must have pitted. Oh, he's just lost it actually, Ray Steve then, which is uncharacteristic for him. He was running a bit higher up the field than P11. We missed that one, ladies and gentlemen. He's dropped down to P11 then, so AMG Dens is having a good run up into P6 on merit. AJS in chat, I missed the start. Oh, trust me, you'll be able to see the start once this stream is finished and back up on the YouTube channel. But we will look at the front of the field. Baggy leads him around. 42 minutes remaining in this race, and he is already 27 seconds ahead then. If there was ever an alien in Assetto Corsa Competizione, you are looking at him. Twitch, Wake, THKKR and Ian then, who have all been able to get past RR Catch. So you've got a trio of Porsches in second, third and fourth. RR Catch is the lead Ferrari, sitting in 5th place. He's having a good run. He was a big beneficiary of the opening lap carnage, but he finds himself into P5 and he's got a 15-second gap to AMG Dens, so he just needs to keep on the back of Ian in that Porsche machine. We will ride on board with AMG as SD12 Dash. He's managed to get past Dash, who's looking for a move up the inside. There's contact, there seems to be contact. Did they make it through? Riding the curbs AMG, so he still keeps it on the road. There was a bit of paint rubbing, paint swapping, but they all still motor on. Dash and Militant is right on the back of them also now with a... Well, Militant has been a big beneficiary actually. I don't know how he got past them all, but he's up into 6th in the Ferrari machine, so thank you very much, he says. Militant 95 marches on. He's having a fantastic recovery drive up into P6 in that Ferrari machine. He said thank you and goodbye, and he's already almost a second ahead of AMG Dens, who had a bit of a come together with SD12 Dash through the chicane, as Ace Tune just sits behind them in the Bentley machine. He can't quite make a move into turn 1, as Julian isn't far behind in P10 now. So it was all changed in the mid-pack. Ray Steve sits 11th. AJ to the P then, he's in P12. Flaming Sock is your 13th place man. MSX still down in 14th with Mike the Killer, Tropic Rock, Rot, Antonelli and Adam bringing up the rear of the field, some 33 seconds down as he is off the track spinning. As the yellow flags are, wait for TJT then. Hopefully he gets it going again. But we will ride on board with the duo of THKKR and Ian then. Those two have swapped positions. THKKR takes up the running in this intra-team battle. Ian slots behind as they pulled out a 2.3 second gap on RR Catch, who in the meantime has also pulled out a 17 second gap to AMG Dens. As we have lost Militant 95, who's back down in 11th then. So as he just dropped it all of a sudden, or as my timing screen's gone all wobbly, because we've seen Ray Steve drop down out of the top 10, and now we've seen Militant drop down out of the top 10, and he hasn't completed a mandatory pit stop, so he must have dropped that Ferrari after making a fantastic drive up into P6. He's back down out of the top 10 with all the work to do as they're going at it once again, ladies and gentlemen. Dash and Dens looking for a move up the inside. He can't quite make it stick in the McLaren machine. No love lost between these two as they motor on down the start line, finish straight. Dash is going to be looking for a move in that slipstream. Will he switch to the inside? Will he make a move stick? He's looking for it. Dash is late on the brakes and he takes it out wide. He's wide as you like into the gravel. That is not where you want to be, ladies and gentlemen. He loses a couple of places. Dens is away. Ace Tune found his way past, and now he's got Julian breathing down his neck in the Ferrari. So Dash lost out there. He was late on the brakes and he just ended up in the gravel. That's what happens when you're pushing to try and gain places. So Dens is a free man, but Ace Tuned is closing as well in that Bentley machine, so he's got some breathing space and he's got some speed. As we just catch our breath, and we will continue. Baggy out in front then, he's coming on to complete lap number 11. Away with the wind is that man. He is a good almost quarter to half lap ahead of Twitch Wake then. It must be at least 30 seconds gap to the second place man, the number 55 Porsche machine. I think Wake will be happy in a second regardless, because he was the last qualifier on the grid. He didn't even set a time in qualifying because he was so late to the party, but he's found himself up into second, almost in a very lonely race actually, as the gap is 31 seconds as he crosses the line. He's got 8 seconds to THKKR, who's leading his teammate Ian TDI, who rounds out the trio of Porsches. Catch is holding his own in that P5 position in the Ferrari. He's still holding that 17 second gap to Dens in 6th place, who Dens is coming into the pits then, so he is going to be the first to blink of these mid-pack runners and riders. Ace Tune, Dash and Julian all come round to complete another lap, as does Ray Steve, as does Militant 95 then. So we will see if AJ has been able to make it work. We will ride on board with AJ. He's coming around the final turn now, so he is going to get the jump on Den, so that gives you a rough indication of where AJ to the P should be in this race when he returns. Back up the grid when everybody else has made their pit stops. So you should see AJ up into that P6, P5 position as long as he holds it together. As THKKR has managed to pull some distance between himself and Ian. Almost 2 seconds is the gap then, so I wonder if Ian's just made a mistake. We're 35 minutes still to run in this race. Track temperature at 20 degrees and it is damp out there, so we've gone from a greasy track to a damp track, so does beg the question, how are these guys holding up with their tyre strategies? Will they be coming in to put on new boots? Will they stick with what they got? They've only got to do a splash and dash in theory. It's a 1 hour sprint race at Nurburgring. There's no mandatory tyre change. There is a mandatory fuel stop, but only time will tell how their strategies play out as we ride on board with Twitch Wake. We'll ride on board with him for a full lap of Nurburgring. We'll see how he's faring. He is 32 seconds behind Baggy, but you got to give him credit where credit's due. He avoided the carnage in that opening lap, and he's kept it clean ever since. He's had zero practice, he's had zero time to prepare. He wasn't even going to make the grid tonight, but he showed up, be it at the rear of the field, and he is motoring on comfortably in second place then. It's such a shame Assetto Corsa Competizione hasn't sorted out their broadcasting features, because we could be riding on board inside the cockpit right now, which would be a lovely addition to these camera angles. If you could leave a thumbs up on the stream, guys, it is appreciated. We're slowly creeping up to 300 subscribers with SOP Motorsport TV, which is nice to see you guys tuning in to watch us. Even with all the problems that ACC brings us with broadcasting these races, we do our best. As we'll switch to THKKR then. He leads Ian TDI. 1.6 is the gap between himself and Ian, so it's steadied out now between these two. They pulled out a 5.6 second gap to Catch, who is in 5th place. He's having a brilliant race. Is our Catch. I'm sure he's going to be happy inside the cockpit of that Ferrari machine. Ace tuned in the Bentley, he sits P6, and this has been a fantastic battle to watch all race, this mid-pack Ace tuned, Dash, Julian, Militant. Denz has dropped out of this running because he's made his mandatory pit stop. Militant 95 is slowly catching back up to that pack as Ace tuned does come in for his pit stop. So that will free Dash in the McLaren, but he does have Julian breathing down his neck in that Ferrari machine. Is there going to be any change of position between these two on this lap? Lap number 14, 13 completed, 32 minutes remaining. We will ride on board with the McLaren man. Yuri Baggy in a world of his own as usual in the chat. He is indeed in a world of his own. He's 33 seconds ahead. If you weren't watching the stream from the very beginning, you would have not known that there was a lot of turn 1 lap 1 carnage. There was probably at least 10 cars facing the wrong way, at least 15 cars out of sorts, changing positions in the gravel, in the grass, you name it, there was it. So Baggy was able to just escape from pole position and avoid all that melee. But AJ to the P, he's made his way up into the top 10 for the first time as he is in P9. He is only 3.9 seconds down to Militant 95 according to my timing screens. If that's correct, he's managed to pull back 30 seconds. Wizardry, I say wizardry. But he is only 4 seconds behind Militant 95, who is the next car up the road. So AJ to the P is definitely making that early pit stop work for him, because if Militant 95 is only 3 seconds ahead and he's only got Julian and Dash just in front of him, he will slot into P6 once all the mandatory pit stops are made. It does beg the question how far ahead our catch is on those guys. Will he be able to keep hold of P5? As 7 seconds further up the field we have Ian and THKKR running nose to tail for the majority of this race then, these two. And Ian was a long time McLaren man actually, but he said goodbye to that relationship. He's moved on to bigger and better things. He's stuck with the Porsche, and it must be said he's been far more consistent at the front of the field in that Porsche machine, so he's certainly found some speed racing in the number 13 machine as THKKR leads the way as Ian gets it all slideways, sliding, slideways. We just made up a new word, ladies and gentlemen. Twitch Wake is 10 seconds up ahead and leading the way. 15 laps complete is Baggy underscore 38 in the Audi machine, that lime green Audi machine. He is on lap number 16. So we'll ride on board with Baggy. We'll just appreciate what this man can do behind the wheel of this Audi for a whole lap. 28 minutes remaining in this race. It seems to be whatever car Baggy gets into, he's just a class of the field. He was 40 seconds ahead in the Coach Dave Academy event last month, and that was in the Porsche machine at Kyalami, so he's looking to repeat that feat in this race, be it 30 minutes shorter. So we'll just go through the runners and riders then. We seem to have lost one, so Antonelli brings up the rear of the field in the Aston Martin. TJT is in 16th place. Ace Tuned is in P15. Ray Steve is in 14th, and he's got Tropic Rot just ahead of him in the Lamborghini, who is looking for a move on AMG, as we got an Elf banner flying all over the place, not sure why. Strange things that happen in this race, ladies and gentlemen. AMG Dens then is holding on to 12th from Tropic Rot. It's worth noting Tropic Rot lost control of that Lamborghini early on, so hopefully AMG Dens isn't going to feel the wrath of the same. As Flaming Sock does come into the pits, as does Julian. So AJ to the V has moved up into 17th after languishing at the rear of the field, making the first of the pit stops with MSX, who has also made his way up into the top 10. So AJ is the first of the runners and riders who have completed a pit stop. He's got Dash just ahead of him then, who is not too far away from Catch. If you are just tuning in, thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Leave a like and subscribe on the stream and the channel. It is very much appreciated. James Flynn, MSX, hype, yes, so he is having a comeback drive here this evening, because he managed to put that McLaren into P3 during qualifying, but I don't need to tell you what happened in turn 1 anymore. He found himself at the rear of the field after getting collected on the opening lap, so he's having a fantastic comeback drive as MSX in P9 currently. He should be able to get the jump on Dash and Militant. He's not too far behind those guys, so he should be right up behind AJ to the P in 7th when once Dash and Militant have made their pit stops. Obviously it's a shame to see MSX down in 9th because he had the speed to challenge for a podium this evening. As did AJ. AJ's in 6th and he put it onto 2nd on the grid during qualifying, and he was 0.8 behind Baggy, so not saying Baggy was going to be challenged, but at least there was someone within a second of Baggy's qualifying time, so there could have been something interesting there, but we were denied it. Wake comes round to complete lap number 16. He moves on to lap number 17, 40 seconds behind Baggy. Just absolutely incredible times from Baggy, how he can just consistently put those lap times in every single time is just extraordinary. THKKR 10 seconds further behind Wake then, as Ian TDI is 2.2 behind, with RR Catch some 13 seconds behind that, so he's dropped off the pace now as RR Catch in P5. He was running as high as P2 and P3 before Wake, THKKR and Ian found their way past in the trio of Porsches, but he's still holding his own. His Catch, he's 17 seconds ahead of AJ to the P, but Catch does still have that pit stop to make, so it will be interesting to see where he pops out in all of this. Anyone know what pace Baggy is doing? I can tell you it's bloody well fast. Unfortunately, again, one of those things that these broadcast limitations gives us is the fact that we can't see how fast everybody is going. I dare touch any of the options above in case it gives us the blue screen of death, so Wakey boy is always up top, he's quick. Yep, James Flynn, you are correct. If you didn't see the opening laps of this race, Wake was actually completely dead last. He didn't set a qualifying time, he almost didn't make the race, so he just started dead last, P18, and he found himself up into P3 after the opening lap because of all the first lap carnage. He set himself a challenge, and he wished he was streaming this race, one of those back of the grid to the front of the grid challenges. As Ian TDI is the first to blink then, he's coming in for his pit stop. So we'll see if he makes a successful pit stop of that one, as Catch does follow him in also, so it will be interesting to ride on board with AJ, as AJ just storms past both of them. So my word, AJ comes out in front of Ian and Catch, so AJ to the P then is up into P4 completely on merit and speed. He pitted on the opening couple of laps after that turn 1 carnage, and he has just been putting those laps in to those fast laps in to slowly climb up through the field, and he's had that race come to him with 21 minutes remaining. So we'll wait for the timing screens to update, because they don't show that AJ has jumped Catch and TDI, but once they do, it will show AJ up into P4. Some way away, THKKR and Wake, 27 seconds. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, 27.7 seconds is the gap between him and THKKR. I don't think THKKR will be that long in the pits. It depends if he's changing that rubber beneath him. If he's not, it's going to be a splash and dash, and he will be away again. Be able to hold on to that final podium position, as he does find himself into the pits. So we will ride on board with THKKR, we will ride on board with AJ to the P AJ to the P is quite a way away then, so THKKR will he put on? It will be pretty close between these two, I believe, as THKKR still hasn't come into his box yet then. So AJ to the P is coming around the final turn. He is coming onto the start line, finish straight, and he will be putting pedal to the metal because THKKR is only just coming into his pit box, ladies and gentlemen. We will ride on board with THKKR, we will ride on board with AJ to the P, because AJ to the P once again does get the jump on THKKR. Fantastic, this is from AJ to the P. Fantastic recovery back up into the podium positions then. He was languishing at the rear of the field because of that opening lap, as was MSX, who's found himself up into P7. Then a fantastic recovery drive from him, who will now get the jump on Militant 95. So the running order without Baggy and Twitch Wake pitting is those two are your lead two. When the timing screens update, it will be AJ to the P in third and THKKR in fourth. Militant is just coming out the pit, so you'll have Ian in P5, MSX into P6, and it will be battle on once again, I believe, for the final top 10 positions. We will ride on board with Tropic Rot, who has found himself past AMG Dens, who has also got Ray Steve breathing down his neck. 0.8 of a second is the gap between these two Mercedes drivers. As we've got 17 runners and riders left then, so 2 left to make a pit stop. Antonelli brings up the rear. TJT has made his way up into 16th place. Julian, after running so strongly early on, then up into P5 I believe he got, is found himself down into P15. Flaming Sock is in 14th. Ace Tuned is 13th. Ray Steve is 12th. Aim is 11th. There you guys, just outside the top 10. Tropic Rot is the Lamborghini man, and he does find himself in that final top 10 position. Dash is 9th. Militant at 8th. Finds himself in 7th then, after running as high as 2nd in the opening lap. So all these guys have sorted themselves out during the pit stop window, and Catch slots back into P7. Then he's got 12 seconds on Militant 95, so providing he keeps it on the tarmac, there will not be any problems. MSX is running 6th. He's having a lonely race, I believe. Not actually too far behind THKKR and Ian, so as I say that, it looks like MSX got it all wrong into turn when he was slow exiting that first turn. But you got THKKR, who's behind Ian during the pit stop window, so Ian has got the jump. He made that early pit stop and he made the undercut work. So I don't think there'll be any team orders here, ladies and gentlemen. This is battle in pole position. Ian and THKKR, the number 13 machine, the number 14 machine, identical liveries, identical machines. Who's going to be the better driver in this 1 hour of Nurburgring? AJ to the P then is 19 seconds ahead in that final podium position, but is some 47 seconds away from Twitch Wake. As Baggy leads them around. 21 laps completed then, just over 15 minutes left in this race, ladies and gentlemen. He's just been the class of the field out in front. How he does it, I don't think we'll ever know, but he certainly puts on a good show for everybody. So Baggy is your race leader with 15 minutes to go. Twitch Wake is in second. Those first two runners and riders still have to pit. AJ to the P is the lead car, 21 seconds ahead of Ian TDI. So he's had a fantastic recovery drive. AJ to the P found himself back up into the podium positions after that early off. Ian and THKKR have been nose to tail for the majority of this race in the post machines, and MSX has had a fantastic recovery drive also to find himself back up into the top 6 after languishing at the rear of the field with AJ to the P. He's got the jump on Catch during the pit stop windows. Catch was running as high as second. He's fallen back to 7th and seemed to have settled there, but Militant 95 is only 9 seconds further behind. You've got Dash and Tropic Rot are the final two who make the top 10. Just outside is AMG Dens. He was running as high as 5th earlier on in this race, so he's just dropped off the pace ever so slightly, and he's got Ray Steve Ace Tune just behind him. So he's going to be in defensive mode is AMG Dens, and Ray Steve will be looking to pounce because he won't want to let Ace Tune through. Those three are having a fantastic battle just outside the top 10. As we will ride on board with AMG Dens for a whole lap, then we'll see what he can do. We'll see if he can hold off that Mercedes machine of Ray Steve. These are identical machines, so it will be a battle of driver skill. .2 of a gap between Rays and .2 of a gap between Ace Tuned. You couldn't get any closer. Nose to tail, these trio of runners and riders as they make their way around the latter half of the Nurburgring. Who is close enough to make a move? Ray's Steve is looking racy, but he's been caught napping as Ace Tune made a fantastic move up the inside, ladies and gentlemen. He's dispatched one Mercedes. He's going to be looking for another now. That Bentley machine is on the move. Is he going to cover the inside line, AMG Dens? Is he going to be a late enough breaker? He does get the car slowed down and turned in just in time. Ace Tuned is looking ever so racy on the back of him there, isn't he, ladies and gentlemen? We'll switch to Ace Tuned is looking up the inside. Can he make it stick? Not this time round. AMG Dens goes defensive. He's hugging that inside line. He's not letting anybody past. Can we see Ace Tuned make the move? Not this time round. He sits patiently then behind AMG Dens. As AMG Dens overcooks it then, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my word, look at that. Ace Tuned has dispatched two Mercedes in the matter of one lap. Fantastic stuff from Ace Tuned. He put pressure on both of those guys. Rays and AMG succumbed to the Bentley machine, succumbed to Ace Tuned, and he's already pulling away. So fantastic stuff happening further down the field. As look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Ace Tuned has certainly got the speed because AMG is now having to defend from Ray Steve. And as these two battle, AMG and Ray Steve, Ace Tuned is just going to pull away from these guys. We'll just have a look further back as Julian, Flaming Sock, TJT and Antonelli make up the last of the runners and riders. As look at this, ladies and gentlemen, as I was watching that battle developing, Wake has made his pit stop and he's actually come out behind AJ to the P. So where AJ to the P is finding this fantastic speed from is unbeknown to me, because Wake is some 17 seconds behind AJ to the P then. Wow, we were. I did not see that one coming. I thought Twitch Wake had second place cemented, but he's made his pit stop, and the trio of Porsches once again third, fourth and fifth. As AJ has had to work damn hard for it then, but he's found himself back up into P2 where he qualified. So Baggy is the last of the runners and riders to make a pit stop. What is the gap between Baggy and AJ? As we do have yellow flags being waved, I'm not sure who that is for. We will try and have a look. It might be AMG Dens, who is off the track once more into turn 1. So he's not happy in these damp conditions, AMG Dens then. As we will ride on board with Baggy, just look at the gap he's got between himself and AJ to the P. It is over half a lap, ladies and gentlemen. He does still need to make his mandatory pit stop, obviously, but he should still come out in the lead, way ahead of AJ to the P. Yeah, Ben, anything short of 30 seconds and AJ has it. I don't think the gap is less than 30 seconds, unfortunately. We will wait for the timing screens to update themselves. There's 9 minutes remaining. Baggy still to make his mandatory pit stop. He's completed 25 completely flawless laps out in front. He before Wake come into the pits, the gap was over 40 seconds. So I think Baggy has got a nice cushion now to AJ to the P. But AJ to the P is 21 seconds ahead of Twitch Wake then, who is 10 seconds further ahead of ENTDI. THKKR isn't far behind, but he isn't going to want to take his teammate off. So he's just sitting 1 second behind ENTDI there in 5th place. MSX is your 6th place man, he's some 5 seconds further adrift. After a fantastic recovery drive back up into the points. Our catch is slowly being reeled in by Militant 95, then he sits in 7th place at our catch, but he is only 3.3 seconds ahead of Militant 95. As I say that, the timing screens update and the gap is 2 seconds then, as we do have Dash off the track then. So Dash has dropped right down the order, he's got it all wrong. He finds himself in the latter half of these runners and riders. Will ride on board with Catch. We'll see what the gap is between him and Militant, as Militant is really closing in then on our Catch. Will ride on board with these two Ferrari men, battling it out for lead. Ferrari honours these two, Militant 95 and our Catch. As Militant 95 does find his way past then, so that was a bit of a out of the position. Thank you very much, I'll see you later on. Our Catch did not put up much of a fight, he thought better of it. And I actually can't see the gap between him and AJ because Baggy is so far ahead, it just says AJ to the V is +1 lap all the time. As we've just lost someone else then, there was a yellow flag. I was about to find out who it was, but we've just lost them from the race. It wasn't someone from the top 10, I don't think. The top 10 seem unchanged. Baggy leads AJ to the P from Wake and Ian. THKKR from MSX. Militant 95 just found his way past Catch. Tropic Rot and Ace Tuned round out the top 10 with 6 minutes to go. So Baggy is certainly leaving it very late to complete his mandatory pit stop, albeit nothing actually goes wrong during the pit stop window. But just for reference, ladies and gentlemen, AJ to the B is only just negotiating turn number 1, as Baggy is already onto the back straight, coming to negotiate the final chicane and the final turn. So he's sort of got 3/4 of a lap on AJ to the P, so he really isn't going to be challenged during the pit stop window. Five minutes remaining, then he comes round for another lap. He's going to be leaving it to the final lap, it seems, to complete that mandatory stop. We will ride on board with Wake and see what's going on a bit further down the field. 8 seconds further back is Ian, who's got THKKR less than 1 second behind him, as MSX is really closing up onto the back of those two then. So are we going to see a mad dash to the line between Ian, THKKR and MSX? We will ride on board with this trio of runners and riders, as that must be Militant 95. No, he's 36 seconds back then. So it is just this trio of drivers then. MSX from THKKR from Ian. Oh my god.